The situation currently in South Sudan is that there is a peace talks going on, and there are some agreement reached and signed by the warring parties, but on the ground still there are violence going on, robberies and road ambushes. Even last week our provincial youth worker was killed in an ambush on his way from Juba to Yei. And people are still displaced, and some are still in the neighboring countries in refuge. And those who have remained inside the country are very much suffering because of the deteriorating economic situation, where prices are high and living conditions become so harsh and so hard for many people. And the church in all this is trying to preach the message of peace and hope, and continue to encourage the people that there is an end to everything that has a beginning. And also the church is taking upon itself to reconcile and to heal the wounds caused by the conflict, and to give joy to people in whatever capacity it can, and to be with the communities in the displaced camps and in all villages where they are. So the church continues to encourage them all. The church has no tribe, because all those baptized in Christ are all one in Christ as children of God. And with the fact that the church is scattered and is in all communities, so that is an advantage that the church takes to continue to preach the gospel of unity, of love and peace, try to unite people together. Though the politicians try to divide on political ground, but the church is the unifying factor. Christianity is based on fellowship and encouragement from one another. Since the start of Christianity, people were together praying for each other, encouraging each other. That's why as the church in South Sudan, it is important to have partners and friends elsewhere, like in Salisbury and other places, for encouragement, for prayer support, and for exchange of visits. So that is very, very important. And as we sit in South Sudan, we know that there are brothers and sisters praying for us elsewhere. Yes, there are many things that the church in England can learn from the church in Africa, and particularly South Sudan. As people from Africa and especially South Sudan, as we come here, we learn many things, and we do understand that there are many things that we can offer for the church here. One of the things is faith, living by faith. Because here, because of the abundance of everything, the word faith seems to be less. But we still can teach that we live by faith and total dependency on God and His power and His provision for us. That's what we do in South Sudan, living by faith. And as we say the Lord's Prayer, give us our daily food, we mean it, because there is nothing in the fridge or somewhere else. And indeed we know God can provide. So that's one thing. Faith is what people here can learn. And also they can learn to be joyful in all kinds of situations and at all times, because joy comes from knowing the Lord. Our joy does not depend on the situation we are in, but it is a gift that comes by knowing Jesus and accept Him as our personal Savior. And many other things where we can at least learn from one another. Of course, what I would like to add is my appreciation and thanks to our Christian brothers in the Church of England, especially the Diocese of Salisbury, for standing with us as the church in Sudan and South Sudan for a long time, especially playing the role of advocacy when we were in the first war. And even now, we still encourage them to continue to advocate on our behalf and raise the profile of the situation going on in South Sudan, that our leaders may be reminded to take the interests of their people above their own interests as leaders of South Sudan. So if they consider the suffering now and pursue to bring peace to their people, it will be great. And that can only come when the church here pray and advocate and raise that profile.